We are live here on a beautiful Thursday evening, or whatever relevant time descriptor it is where you live, on the 17th of this beautiful month of May. While we wait for people to trickle in, how is
we didn't do a whatchamacallit first, did we? Like we usually do.
an intro? We'll do
No,
one.
not an intro. The countdown.
Oh no, I didn't do a countdown this time for reasons.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. It's cool. It's as the kids say, a Gucci. Okay. Brian, what did you have for lunch today? Or I guess breakfast.
Nothing.
Oof.
Actually, I've eaten some of this chocolate so far. That's been my.
Ooh, very nice.
That's been my my breakfast, I guess.
Very nice, indeed, Reno.
Why is Twitch is not even showing me viewer count?
It usually takes like 2 or 3 minutes for mine to update, because on my stream client, it still says 0, but it'll update in a cool minute. So I guess while we wait for it to update, we'll hit that intro and then do things. Today in the news, we have a few topics. Not super heavy on news as it usually is, but it's a few things here and there. And for our guest later this evening, we have Brandon of Seekies, who is probably a much more important individual in the community than most people would actually realize. For a lot of awesome reasons that Brian and I will be going over with Brandon when he pops up later in this episode. So, hit that intro!
Says viewer count is 7K. What?
Ooh.
No, it doesn't.
More than CS:GO on Facebook.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack. Hope you guys are all doing well and you're in for some, keyboard news, because that tends to be what we do here. Like you mentioned earlier, we do have Brandon of Seekies on in a little bit. He's a very, very nice guy, very smart guy, and he's doing a non-profit organization called Ckeys. But we'll get into that a little bit later. We do have some news, not a lot, but there are some good ones weaved in there as well. So
yeah.
we'll get to that. But of course, in standard tradition, like we have been lately, mail call.
Mail call.
It only works when you do it. Anyways, I did get something.
Yeah, you
I
did.
didn't get anything. I was trying to think of when exactly I got this, but I got a TX60.
Yes, and
Which is pretty fancy.
we saw you build it on a build stream recently.
Yeah, which is on YouTube if you want to check it out.
So
As well as Twitch.
it's been a hot second. Thoughts?
What?
It's
Sorry.
of the board.
Okay. I think it's definitely one of the best boards I've probably ever used. It feels really solid, very heavy. I love the design. The bezels, I think, are pretty much like the perfect thickness for 60%. Dig in the brass plate, but I kind of wish there were other options as well. I might have chose like a stainless steel plate if I had the option. I think I wind up liking stainless steel a little bit more than brass overall, but that's just me. So far, really, really, really enjoying this build overall.
Awesome. Hopefully you can take some crispy, beautiful shots of that board with your camera in the future for us, because
Tomorrow I was thinking of hopefully taking some nice pictures and putting up several sound tests on the old YouTube channel.
ooh, the YouTube. I would like the YouTube.
What about you? What have you gotten this week?
I feel like a king this week. I got quite the haul in the mail. Starting off, I got this set, JTK Toxic, which you guys saw me put on this board. You guys might have even seen this post on Reddit.
It's very aptly on a human board.
Yeah, it's a toxic human. So this board is a bit sick. Ah, man. Also in the mail I got are these mod M's, which I've installed on this board that has a carbon plate. Yeah, I got that in. That's pretty cool, pretty good. What else did I get? I got some keycaps. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. What keycaps are these? You might be wondering. These are, for better or worse, some XDA gray blanks, and you may be wondering, Huey, why did you get XDA gray blanks? And there's literally only one reason I got XDA gray blanks. One, a singular reason. I'll pull it out of this box so you can see. A 3U spacebar. That's why I got this set.
More importantly, 2 3U space-bars.
I don't even think I have 2 of them. I think I have just 1 of them.
The set only comes with 1?
Yeah. I don't know if I need 1 or 2, though, for my Chewy 60.
I thought you needed 2.
I don't know, man.
Oh, no. You have to buy another one of those XDA sets?
No, I can buy a separate one individually from Vincent, but...
Oh, boy.
Oof, yeah. But the
boy.
reason I needed that is I can finally build up my Chewy 60. You guys might have seen I got this quite a while ago, but they didn't send me like a plate. I mean, they didn't send me a PCB until last week, which I got, and they didn't send me keycaps, even though, you know, I don't just have 3U spacebars just lying around here.
Very few people do.
So I had to order a key set so I could start the review, so I could build this board so I could review it for them, because they're so nice to just give me this board, which is fine. And you might be wondering, Huey, what switches are you gonna put? Well, in the mail today, the last reason I feel like royalty is these box royal switches I got. So a lot of you guys know that I haven't done my review yet because I got the samples, and the samples are the wrong spring rate. These are the correct spring weight, straight from Mike, the man himself. And I've felt a few of these switches in my hand individually. You know, obviously it's not a big comparison to on a board, but they still feel similar enough to the lighter ones I had.
People are saying rip sound.
Rip sound.
I can hear you just fine, so I'm not really sure.
Twitch. It's more on Twitch and other things. Rip.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm gonna just fix my cable, I guess.
Zeal GIF? What?
Oh yeah, the GIF is still down. Okay, I haven't fixed it. Sorry, guys.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And also got some MX clears in the mail that I've already turned into 63.5 meme ergo clears. So that is the end of my mail. No, I'm not gonna do it. Mail call.
Fantastic. Quick opinions on the mod ends, since we recently had Pudsey on and he was touting how amazing and otherworldly
and on a carbon plate, which he was like, mod M's on a carbon plate. He doesn't sound like that, obviously.
Sometimes he does.
Yeah. They as far as I'll go.
All right.
Yeah, I won't go farther for now.
That's fine. We'll wait on some more impressions later on. But for now, we can move on to the news.
I need to work on like a top Clack symbol, like with the little Batman theme goes doodle doodle doodle, and it spins in the middle of the screen, and then we switch to the news viewer. You know what I'm saying?
No, what we need is a sponsor gift. It's been like 3 episodes now. Gosh,
I know, I feel bad. I'll work on it. Hey, thanks for wait, no, we got that last time. Okay, there's an old thing showing up.
It's just when you swap the layout, I think it
refreshes the things.
Things
So let's move to the first bit of news and a announcement by Mr. Mito himself on his official site, mitomk.com, which is Canvas Round 2. It's a thing. It's going to be happening. A Branden and Rams inspired keycap set. You can request it on Massdrop, which all that means is nothing because it's going to be on Massdrop anyways.
That's true. That's so true.
Right?
But anyways, yeah, if you missed it the first time, and I know a lot of people did and they were kind of bummed about it, here's your chance to get it again. Bam. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I think it's a fairly good-looking set. It's very unique. It's kind of the introduction into custom XDA sets, which is kind of cool.
So what do you think about the new Wolfgang slash Manfred colorways? Of course, the only main difference between those mono kits are the Mito accents, also known as the Micron mods for the modifiers. But that's a very interesting colorway they got going on for the Manfred and all the one. It's like that weird.
I mean, I like the Wolfgang.
Bluish
Manfred.
Purple.
I'm not too big on the Manfred, but I like the Wolfgang. Yeah. Lots and lots and lots of kits, as you'd expect, probably similar and more so than the last time. So we're not going to talk too much more about this because this set has already been ran before. It's not a whole lot new going on at the moment. So, bam, there's that. Canvas round 2. Get it if you want it.
Yeah.
Speaking of XDA, we have another set coming out soon. Why is that happening? What the heck?
XDA Oblique coming soon by Dr. Derivative.
This one is pretty neat in my opinion. I kind of dig the whole like Japanese AEK look vibe that's going on here. Very OG, very classic.
Not gonna lie, I agree with the first comment. There needs to be a separate kit where you can buy a yellowed spacebar.
Oof. Really? You
yeah.
think so?
Where's my XDA keyboard?
Like, I'm aware it's a thing, but like, do people actually like that?
No, it's part of the charm, but I think they should still offer it. Like a very subtly, not super subtly actually, but you know, like the guys in the mine. Like you can definitely tell the spacebar is the spacebar because you know, bromide.
You can always retrobrite it and have it look normal again.
Retrobrite wears off though really quickly too.
Oh really?
Yeah, because the how the plastic. We talked about it on the Discord Top Clack Discord earlier today. It's basically it's impossible unless you like finish it. But of course, finishing it would change the surface finish and it'd feel different. What do you think of this set?
I think it's fine. I like the legends a lot. I like how it has that AEK Japanese vibe.
AEK inspired for sure, especially since you know I have an AEK set in front, and these are text modifiers, not icon modifiers, but still decent. Still P decent.
I'm digging it. There is a Keycap IC thread in that Reddit post if you want to check that out. But yeah, hopefully that's coming very soon.
Yeah, I think a lot of people I think will be looking forward to it because a lot of people I think will be definitely putting it on 60% to look like that. Would a look like that?
Like that. Speaking of you know, continuing on our low-profile Keycap news. Some pretty cool stuff going on over at Kono.store. DSA Arcane and Plague have both released. You can pick up each one for $175. May seem kind of like a high price, but if you check out the compatibility that you get, it's actually quite a bit. So this is kind of unlike other DSA and SA set runs that we've seen in the past, where it's kind of an all-inclusive kit as opposed to a bunch of child kits. So this is a little bit more a la GMK than it would be a la Signature Plastics anything, which I kind of like. I like the all-inclusive sets. If you were to break all this down into a bunch of child kits and buy them separately, you probably wouldn't be saving any money versus paying $175.
While that is 100% absolutely true, I do have an opinion which I think they should have put the novelties on a completely different set with those accented space bars, because those novelties, since they're all double shot, I'm guessing, is what's driving the price up.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Unless somehow, you know, Signature Plastics already has double shot molds for a pentagram. I don't know what kind of business they do with other people, but unless they already have one, they're gonna need to make those molds, right? So So I think it would have been better if they split that off. TBH.
I could agree with that. I'd be curious to see what the price would be if that had happened, at the very least.
So I have a question to you and the people in chat. Okay, I got my board up. My JTK Toxic. Okay, guys, JTK Toxic or DSA Plague? Which one would you guys go for?
I don't know. I mean, I prefer Cherry Profile. So on that note, I'd probably have to say JTK, but I think I prefer the Plague colorway. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and what do you think between Plague and Arcane?
I like Arcane more.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely agree there.
I like the novelties a lot too, and compatibility is pretty darn good. Anyways, yeah, check that out. Support Oblique. Pretty sure he's the one that designed this set. Right? Oblique?
Yeah, Oblique and Gregor.
Cool.
Yeah, so check that out when you get a chance. The next thing we'll be checking out is pretty loud in colors, similar to Arcane in a way, but also pretty tall in keycaps, in stature, unlike the other keycaps we've seen. This is the Maxkeys SA 2600. Okay. 2600.
What is this based on?
Okay, I have the answer for you, okay? If you scroll down and you look at the about, inspiration comes from Hawking's prediction. Salute the great man. Thumbs up emoji. What is
maybe
Hawking's
I'm not
prediction?
smart enough. Yeah, maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe someone in chat is smart enough to tell us why.
This is the SA Iris. Let me really pop out my GMK Iris set behind me, because it's basically the mods and alphas reversed and with still the yellow.
I think the colors are okay. I don't actually mind this set at all. I think it looks pretty nice, personally. But I just don't really understand it.
I don't understand either. Like, I don't know what do you mean? Why is it called the 2600? What he means by Hawking's prediction? Like, I'm sure he means the physicist, right? Stephen Hawking's.
Yes.
I don't know any other Hawkings that would also relate to having novelties that of comets, a UFO, a star. What I assume is a curvature in space time.
Kino in chat says Hawking concluded that essay is trash right before his death. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It means the world will burn up by the year 2600 due to pollution. Is that true?
That's
interesting.
Depressing, and
if that's what, yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, if sets like this make MOQ, then I'd believe it. Ooh, look at me. Just the straight burn. Yeah, I don't like the set.
I mean, I won't be alive that long, so, you know, whatever. Or maybe I will be. Maybe I'm actually immortal. Illuminati.
Interesting thing that the group I wanted to say is they're considering making the novelty keys alone through Signature Plastics and the rest through Maxkeys.
Interesting. I wonder how that would affect final ship times.
Yeah.
And consistency between the two processes.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Anyways.
No, it's
check
more.
that out if you want.
No, it's more interesting.
Or don't.
Yeah, don't nah, check it out.
Hey, man.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Speaking about different strokes for different folks, the big thing about people in the community is bezels. You love them, you hate them, or you understand that there's a limit to them. We learned that the Exempt went too far. Has the 4K gone too far? That's the real question. So it's like the Exempt that went too far. We I think for the most part, unless you're really digging that unnecessarily gaudiness, I think for the most part everyone's like, yeah, the Exempt went too far.
Yeah, some people really like it.
But this is the 4K 75%. I guess this is and TKL because they're planning a TKL. Okay, let's look at the TKL unsettled, which is a KBD Lab unsecured link, which is very similar, but
Yeah,
has
the
a really
designs
cool
are very
bottom.
similar, just
Um,
different form factors.
but let's go back to the 65% because this is the one that really stands out. Okay, so it looks like people in chat are like, no, yes, maybe, no, yes, maybe,
Yeah,
no, yes, maybe, no, yes, maybe.
I'm gonna say no on this one. I don't think it's as gaudy as the exempt bezels, but yeah, it's not doing it for me.
I feel like I almost agree. I almost want to agree with Nathan where I'd take the exempt over this just because the exempt went balls to the wall with of being unnecessary.
Yeah, it's
Well,
almost like a novelty at that point.
Yeah, well, this is like, yeah.
Maybe more reasonable. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's just a little out there.
Let's look at the real image link because you know there's some made. The circular USB port I think is kind of cool.
I agree.
Rest of the case itself,
Yes.
But the second part, the TKL. I know TKL has been pretty big in the community these days. This one, the bezels do look actually a bit more reduced since they don't want to make the TKL way bigger than it already is.
Yeah, I think the TKL.
I think it's more. I think
better.
it works better, much better for the TKL. I think so.
Yeah.
At least.
So I imagine that that kind of the holes that are on the sides get filled up by acrylic
Yep.
or something. If I had to guess, I'm
Them
pretty silly to
R's,
leave that blank.
G's, and B's. Yeah, check this set out when you get a chance. It's, I mean, this keyboard out. It's not for me, honestly.
Really hit or miss.
Yeah, it's pretty hit or miss. Like, I don't need another 75% because I have my good old MX Mini that I've had forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about that TKL. Let's move on to another TKL, which is moving on by Beaming Robot, the Kira TKL.
There have been a lot of people waiting for this one.
Yes.
A lot of people like that that Kira design. All those crazy angles on the sides.
Yes. Simple geometry.
Yeah, I for one am not as big of a fan as I am of other keyboards. I don't really like it. Screams Alienware to me, and I've never really been into that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah, it's just different. It's a very, very different kind of aesthetic. Let's look at some of the details we have so far, other than price, TBC, to be concluded, to be chosen. Usually just TBD, to be decided. Maybe I'm just like an idiot right now.
Huh.
Okay, what's included? PCB is going to be by TGR Keyboards. A case is going to be by Thesis Camper. Possibly a numpad included as a set. Maybe a TKL carrying bag, depending on prices. Plate materials, brass, polycarbonate, aluminate. Going to be paying through Shopify. It's going to be a raffle or first come, first serve. So it looks like there are going to be some limited amounts. It's going to be 8 degrees of angle. And it's going to have the same colors as the EXS offerings, which is mostly black, space gray.
And of course, there will be a wind keyless version.
Of course. Of course.
It's a horse. Of course.
So we heard what you don't like about this case, Brian. Is there anything you do like about it?
I mean, I think it looks fine. I like the top-down view. The anodization looks pretty nice. I like the minimalistic style on that part. But yeah, as soon as you get to that side profile and with all those like different angles flaring out, I think it's a little too much for me. Although I do appreciate that it is so different from other things on the market.
So let's look at another TKO that has a different aesthetic approach. Maybe one you'll appreciate more. Next is going to be starting very, very soon. The group buy for the Noxary 280 and 228 TKL and numpad Wombo combo. This is being run by Zondet, who has also made the 268 and X60. But he finally has it in hand. These are built prototypes of the 280, and they look pretty spiffy.
Yeah, no, this is
right up your alley.
Right down your alley. I mean, pros, I think it's very classic. It's very elegant. It's gorgeous. The design is really, really good. Cons, there's nothing new about it. Zondat uses the same design for like all of his stuff now. I mean, this is the exact same design as the X60, as the 266. Like, you know, you have those side angles that just kind of like come up. There's no like real design there. It's kind of flat on the bottom. I like it. Don't get me wrong. Like that's something I greatly prefer. But I mean, it's less exciting because it's not really new.
But Brian,
predictable.
5mm plate.
Okay, that's pretty cool. No,
Okay.
I like the board. Like,
So like
just
like the board we talked about before, we got 8 degrees of angle. Okay, switch top remove compatible. USB-C QMK PCBs for both the TKL and the numpad. All brass is sandblasted. All polycarb is frosted. 100 units limited to the TKL. It's gonna weigh a good amount. 2.4 kilograms with the 5mm brass plate. Another 900 grams. Woo!
Wow,
win keyless or
that's
win key.
really heavy.
Yeah, so you can get 5mm brass, 85 or for $100 for $85, 5mm polycarb. You can get a partial polycarbonate plate, which I assume is half plate, either a normal brass or a normal brass, I believe, plate. So yeah, maybe it's only, who knows? But yeah, the 220, the numpad, only limited of 30 though. Only limited of 30.
Weighs 600 grams. Does it actually? It has a weight in it, doesn't it?
Yes.
The numpad itself has a weight.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That might be a first. I don't think we've seen a weighted numpad before, so that's pretty cool. Looks like that's going to be a little bit cheaper, but still not terribly inexpensive. The top, weight, and bottom is 160. PCBs another 25. Universal brass plate, I imagine, is what that's supposed to be. That's another 25. So this is going to be $210 before shipping, just for the numpad. It's a little pricey, but I mean, quality-wise, it looks quite nice. I love the design. You get that USB-C in there.
Man, I might hop on one of these on Saturday.
The numpad or the
No,
TKL?
no, the TKL.
Oof.
I don't know if I'd go for numpad as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I were going to spend $210 on the numpad, I might as well just spend the other $200 and get the TKL.
Yeah. Thanks, Ravo33 for the Twitch Prime sub, by the way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You guys are fantastic.
So I'm going to agree with Megaforce in chat. This is probably, at least in my opinion as well, the best TKL and interest check / probably the best one we've seen in the last 2 to 3 months.
Best TKO?
Yeah.
I'd probably agree with that. I think it's a fantastic TKL design. It's very, very simple. It's very expected. Not in a bad way.
Yeah, in the best way though.
Yeah, like if I wanted like a very elegant classic TKL, this is what I want.
I kind of want to get one of those, a very nice classic TKL, which is why I'm like really looking at this.
And if it's anything like the X60, it's going to feel great and sound great while typing.
Ooh.
Because the X60, even with imperfections, is still like one of my favorite boards to type on.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the top mounted plate, steel in mine because I prefer that. It feels so rock solid, and it is so like heavy, and the sound is really, really nice. So yeah, I wish I could. If I weren't buying the board that shall not be named, I would buy this instead.
We can name it. It's not secret. He said that on our stream. Yeah, it's just private. It's not secret, just private.
Okay, my bad. If I weren't buying the meme, I would buy this instead.
The meme. Same? No, actually, I'm probably gonna buy this as well.
Well, you're just
in debt.
Cooler than no, you just work way harder than I do. That's really what it boils down to. You deserve to make a lot more money than me because you work significantly harder.
Oh man,
cool stuff though.
Yeah,
like,
hit me up with the cool stuff.
has been really on point with stuff lately. He's been really active in our Discord, helping out people and answering questions and just talking about the boards and stuff, and really appreciate that. So definitely make sure to support this buy. Price is actually not unreasonable in my opinion.
The weight, I like the dual weight going on. Like, yes.
And 5mm brass plate.
I did confirm with them it's going to be snap-in, not friction fit for the 5mm, which is...
Snap-in?
Yeah.
Can you explain what snap-in plate is?
Yeah, so normal plates are snap-in. That's a no big issue for anyone. When we put your switch into a plate, it'll snap in. You'll feel that snap in. So the issue when you have a really thick plate, 5mm, is that's exceeding the total tolerance that Cherry gives on their spec sheet between the PCB and the clips for the sides of the switch. And to fix that issue but still retain a 5mm plate, they have a small tiny relief cuts on the side so the switch can still clip into those sides but still be surrounded by 5mm of rock solid brass. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, speaking of things that aren't cool, not having boards shipped out. That's not cool, huh?
Yeah.
That's not
let's move
cool
on to
at all.
Let's move on to some drama.
Some drama. Get your popcorn and get your butter. We're on a wild ride now. Why are we looking at the the Dolphin and EM7 group buy raffle? Didn't you guys cover this like months ago? Yes.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
but
we
if
did.
you scroll towards the end of the thread,
what page was that I linked you where things started?
Man, that's what I actually should have linked. I feel
I should have linked that page.
Hold on. It was only like a few days ago. It's one of the most recent pages, I imagine.
I'm gonna guess.
I'm gonna say 23.
No, 21 was too far.
Or 22. Yeah,
oh, it's 22?
It's 22.
It's 22. Okay.
Yeah.
So, oof, drama. So, like, why haven't boards been shipping?
Dude, why don't you talk a little about this, Huey? Break it down for us. What's been going on with this group buy?
Well, as a lot of people eloquently stated in the Discords, it's basically a soap opera. You got heavy sicknesses going on. You got families getting involved. You get family sicknesses getting involved, and then you get business flights for a 1-hour flight, and then Gucci. Gucci bags, not like when I say it's Gucci, because this ain't Gucci. This ain't Gucci. Is this right? Yeah, okay, so basically, the person who was supposed to be running it said they got sick. And they were in a coma. So their family members said they were in a coma, so their brother would take over the group buy. But then recently, last Saturday, they posted a picture on their Facebook of them going on a holiday, followed by them buying like bags and bags of Gucci.
Really expensive stuff here. Yeah.
The business class flight was like an hour long flight. They got business class for an hour-long flight. I've flown between those two cities before.
It's pretty fantastic.
It's pretty bad, right? So obviously the group buy runner who was supposed to be sick isn't sick. They're completely healthy. They're just, I guess maybe by coma they meant food coma from eating so much fancy food from all that.
There's some funny comments in this
group buy money. Start from page 22 and just read down. That's what I would say.
When you have some spare time, it's quite a read. It's very, very fun.
Yes.
Thankfully, we're not in this group buy, and I hope everyone that is in this group buy gets the resolution that they want, because obviously we don't want people to get scammed or anything. This similar thing happened in the Weave-In group. The Weave-In group that I was in, round 2, where everything was taking way longer than you did, and the group by runner wound up in the hospital or whatever. Someone said he had cancer or something. He was in a coma. I don't know. It's just it's actually kind of funny how often that group by runners go to the hospital for cancer and comas and very similar things. It's like, man, it's really interesting how often this actually happens. Like, makes you think a little bit. Anyways, the Weave-In group by actually did wind up ending well. It just took forever. So hopefully everyone will get the resolutions they want. Apparently they are offering refunds and stuff, supposedly. But hopefully no scammers. Scammers, no scamming. Please. Group buy flu. Yeah, for real. Feels bad for the participants. Yeah. Yes, it does.
So I want to ask people in chat, how does this compare with what, in your opinion, is some of the most dramatic things in the community? 'Cause I think a lot of people joined at different times, so a lot of people were there for different events in the community. A lot of these things, unfortunately, have a very similar tone, whether it's, Team Redline doing Team Redline stuff, Ivan doing Ivan stuff, or Nam doing Nam stuff.
This isn't even Ivan level. Yeah,
that's true. I mean,
this isn't a confirmed scam yet, so
yeah,
I guess it can't be Ivan level at that rate. I sincerely believed there would be no refund unless the Facebook stuff came up. Interesting. Is it as bad as the exempt GB I am in? That's the real question. Did all those not ship or something? I haven't heard anything about that drama. Interesting. It's 90% Ivan. It's a pretty high percentage of Ivan. Funny to hear about people who have waited multiple years for a key set. Yeah, I mean, how long has it been for Hyperfuse round 1? That's still that was like 4 years ago, right?
Raindrop round 1, and which now Raindrop round 2 is going to be happening.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Dead Encryption does not have its exempt yet, and still no tracking. Interesting. I did not know that. It's pretty rough because a lot of people's reputations are kind of on the line on that too. A lot of names in there: Originative, Rama, TGR. Who else did the exempt? It was like a group of pretty prolific people in the community. So that's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Anyways, drama aside. Let's move on. Let's move on to something a little bit happier, which is Top Clack. Top Clack would not be the Top Clack it is now without our amazing sponsors who do so much for us and help us out in so many ways. And we're going to talk about them, even though we're awful and haven't had the GIF up in a while. But we'll get that. We'll get that. So let's start off with Zeal PC. ZealPC.net is a great place to buy a variety of things, most notably switches. He is very famous for his Zelio switches, which have been a community favorite for years now. Telios now in the line as of not too long ago, and those are amazing as well. Those are the linear versions, Telios being the tactile. Round 11 is live now. Round 11. 11 rounds already.
Man, it seems like round 1 was just around the corner, but here we are.
I got switches in round 1 even.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and they had issues.
Yeah.
They had issues. Thankfully, everything's been improved substantially throughout the rounds, and the product is now a much more solid mainstay in the community. So, make sure you pick up some of those switches. Zeal does a pretty good job.
Make sure you check out his food picks in our food and drink channel.
Oof. If you want to feel bad about the stuff that you eat, that's exactly what you should do. And if you want to constantly be hungry. anyways, yeah, make sure you join at round 11. There's all sorts of things going on. He's got ZIL 60 PCBs, the newest revision 3 going out with that as well. Of course, he's got transparent stabs, you know, silencing clips, silencios, etc. It's got all sorts of things. Very, very nice indeedio. Why don't you tell us about someone else, Huey?
Yeah, I'll tell you about Kono.store, run by our awesome friends over at Input Club. Kono.store is their storefront where they got the DSA, Arcane, and Plague sets we just talked about. So if you're feeling a little itch for some DSA, because it's been a cool minute since a lot of DSA sets have ran, there you go. There's some interesting options with some pretty cool novelties there. They also have the White Fox keyboard kit for the True Fox layout if you're looking for a fun keyboard to build. Also running the DSA Mystery Keycaps as the US proxy. They got a lot of things. Check out their Hako switches as well. Violets, Trues, Clears. My favorites are the Trues. Brian's favorites are the Clears. They're wonderful switches if you like that late kind of tactile feeling. They're cool. Too bad they're sold out of hats, but grab a White Fox shirt. And you know what? Grab a Top Clack shirt.
Heck yeah. Actually, White Foxes are on sale right now. You can get like a fully done like White Fox Type C with Hako switches for under $200. White Fox or Night Fox.
Night Fox.
They're both marked down to 190 right now. Wow, that's pretty cool. Very nice.
Fox.
And you can get a basic kit without switches, caps, and cable for $100.
And
so
you know what?
That's pretty cool too.
If you get a basic kit and you're looking at what kind of switches should I get, head over to our next partner, Keycaps, for a great selection of switches. A ton of Kale box switches. Some cheap enough Cherry PCB mount silent black switches that have the silent red springs. He restocked on Cherry stabilizers just the other day, so if you're looking for 2U, 7U, 6.25U in the normal clip-on and screw-in varieties, he's got them there over at Keycaps. And you know what also he has? He has box royals, which everyone's been looking forward to for a long time.
Well, it's my crown look.
I got mine right here. Yeah, a lot of people have been looking forward to the box royals. They've been pretty popular for some people. It's definitely been hit or miss for some people. Of course, that all comes down to preference. I just got mine in of the official ones, not the wrong spring samples. So I'm going to be pretty excited. I'm going to throw in my Chewy 60, and I'll actually do basically a just a review on royals, the Chewy 60, XDA. All
3 birds, half a stone. Easy.
Half a stone. It weighs that much. I don't know how much a stone weighs. I'm not that kind of English speaker.
Yeah.
While you're at Keycaps, pick up a shoe shirt. And you know what? If you're getting it at Keycaps, remember the promo code, everyone. Top Clack. 2 words. Top Clack. Not Top Clack. Top.
It's
Clack.
not. It's not 1 word, guys. Listen. It's not 1 word. It's 2 words. Anyways, also, while you're out shopping for the Kkeys, because we know that's what you guys do, make sure to head over to Z Frontier as well, their English site there, and you can pick up all sorts of things like key sets, huge stock of key sets, pretty awesome stuff there. They got a bunch of, well, what group prices are they doing now, actually?
They are doing,
a bunch of them just ended.
Yeah, DSA Peach Air Sub key set. They're doing GMK Burgundy Round 2. They're doing GMK Phantom. They're doing JTK Hana. They're doing GMK Necro, which got extended to when it makes MOQ. Whatever that means.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, they've got a lot of things going on.
Key sets on key sets on
key sets.
And
they got a ton of key sets in stock, like GMK Pristine, like JTK Purple on White, like GMK Arrow, like a few Maxkeys sets, and they're going on and on and on and on and on.
This JTK Hana, they got a new render up with all the different colors on a board. Oof.
Oh, I didn't follow Necro. Apparently, it got bought up by Oko. I don't care.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, supposedly.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, key sets on key sets, guys. If you want to pick up
key sets
of literally any relevant profile, there you go. Z Frontier is where you want to be, the beast in the East.
Yeah.
And look forward to more epic group buys coming up from them soon, because they're pretty much always running some kind of awesome custom.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It is time to bring on the man, the
Hold on, let me
myth,
go to my...
I know I'm trying to
Okay.
draw this out.
Transition screen. Here we go. I'm on transition screen.
All right, here we go. Come on, Skype. Work this time, please. Come on, Skype. Come on, Skype.
Perfect.
Hey.
Welcome, Brandon, to Top Clack.
Thanks. Hello.
Hey. Pleasure to have you. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Perfect.
Of course, of course. So can you give us a little bit of a rundown of exactly who you are and what you do in this community and why people should know who you are?
Yeah, well, I can tell you first why a lot of people probably don't know who I am that I don't interact with directly is because I'm just busy with a lot of different things and not online nearly as much as I should be. So first, I apologize for that. But I am co-founder of Ckeys. Ckeys is a nonprofit that has been running the last few meetups in Seattle ever since it's been called SMK Meetup. And we're doing the July meetup as well. So I spent a lot of time doing that. Otherwise, I myself got into keyboards because RSI, repetitive strain issues, and I build, weird split keyboards that are, kind of a little different.
Someone later is going to ask you to show it off again because it's so abnormal.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I like about this community is that there are people coming from all different ways, and I know I'm kind of on the fringe in a lot of ways, but it works for me. All one U, and it's handwire. That's how I roll.
Right on. So tell us a little bit about exactly what Ckeys is, what you guys are working towards, and why it came about the way it did.
Yeah. So Ckeys, as our mission is mostly to spread soldering and electronics knowledge and hardware programming to the Seattle area, to the world, and we do that through input devices, mainly being keyboards. And so far, pretty much only keyboards. And we are offering workshops most months these days. We offer those at a local museum here, and we plan to do after-school programs and different things like that. But we work with both adults and kids. And the thing that most people probably, if they know Ckeys at all, know is for the meetups that we do in January and July. And that is another huge portion of what we do because for Ckeys, keyboards make a lot of sense for someone trying to get into electronics. I mean, so many people that are into keyboards, the first time they learned to solder was with a keyboard. Keyboard's a really nice introductory thing to start with that people can start building their own, designing their own PCBs and doing everything. They can really get in pretty deep without having to know as much about electronics as, say, a lot of other things, even music, synthesizers, everything. There's a lot more to know about that kind of stuff than keyboards. So keyboards is a great thing to focus on, and that's why we do that with Ckeys. So yeah, workshops and events.
Yep. And so anyone that's curious about exactly where he's talking about, he is in the Seattle, or roughly the Seattle area, just like me. So Brandon has organized the last several meetups as well as the upcoming Seattle meetup. So as far as meetups go, how has been planning the meetups been going for you, both past and the upcoming one? Because I know that can be a lot of work, especially for the kind of head counts that we've been getting lately.
Yes, it is. It is a lot of work for the July one. July 28th, we're aiming for anywhere from 300 to 500 people, and we had to find a new venue for that. So that takes a decent chunk of time to find venues. Because we're at a kind of a weird size, because under 500 isn't really that many people to be able to get, the $10,000 venues and whatnot, which seems to be kind of, it's either small and cheap and free or really big and way outside of any kind of budget that we could work with. And so, yeah, we've partnered a lot with the Living Computer Museum that's given us venue space for free. Now we're having to find it and pay for it to get it larger. So coordinating a lot of different volunteers, getting the t-shirts designed, because we are going to do t-shirts again this meetup. So there's getting all the sponsors, getting speakers. It's definitely a lot of work, but I couldn't do any of this without all the volunteers that we have that are working behind the scenes as well on this.
Cool. So you're doing something very interesting for this upcoming meetup that I don't think has been done before. you talk about exactly the whole dorm situation for this particular one?
Yeah, we really want to. I mean, Seattle's beautiful in the summer, and we really want to make Seattle a destination location for people, especially for anyone that doesn't have a meetup in their area, or if they do, maybe it's 2 to 5 people. Most areas have been there, but then some of these areas keep growing. I mean, NorCal keeps getting bigger and bigger too. So there are these meetups that a lot of people do fly in for from all over the world, and we want to encourage that even more. So if you're in the middle of Iowa and don't have any cool meetups to go to, it's okay. I grew up in Iowa, but then come out and stay here. And the dorms are going to be haven't made the official announcement yet, but they're going to be 55 to 65, depending on there are 2 dorm locations and different things. We're still working out if we have the option to do either or what, but relatively inexpensive Airbnbs. You'll find a few around that price, but we already have quite a few people that are interested in them, so those Airbnbs are going to fill up quickly too. So for anyone that doesn't know people, this is a great way to come in and get to, I guess, there are single rooms, so you don't have to bunk up with someone unless you really want to go deeper, but it's a great way to get people out here. And we also along in that same vein, we're going to be having kind of a little guide for what to do in Seattle. So outside of, where people are probably going to go the night of the meetup, where people can go for breakfast beforehand, and then what people can do before or after the meetup as well, because the dorms will be on Friday and Saturday night. So for anyone coming in.
Okay, I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Awesome
it winds up being a lot less expensive than something like a hotel or even like an Airbnb. Especially if you're cool just sharing like one small dorm with like another person, then it's like $25 a piece for each of you, like per night. Like that doesn't really get much cheaper than that for paid lodging, honestly.
Well, as an organizer, don't tell me that you do that if you're doing that, because
pro tip.
I think technically the Seattle Pacific University it's per person, so yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Cool. Glossing right over that. Let's move back to Ckeys just for a little bit. So as far as like the future of Ckeys and kind of like your end goal, where do you see yourselves in 3, 5, 10 years, even if you continue something like this?
We see ourselves having, we're going to build up the content side, so online presence, have a lot more videos, build guides, tutorials, all geared towards people that are just totally new to this and potentially outside of the keyboard community. And so it's really meant to be very introductory in that kind of regard. And we want to continue to grow that. We want to get into after-school programs to be able to offer this to young kids. Because maybe kids don't need to learn to build keyboards really young, but we can get them excited about it before keyboards aren't a thing. And so have more people that keep keyboards alive for longer. And then also electronics are just a great way to get kids involved in robotics and anything else that would take serious schooling. If they wanted to do it, they should probably figure that out sooner. And we want to really want to target kids that would otherwise not be able to afford these kind of things. So we want long term, we're looking for corporate sponsorship, big. We also want to focus on places like there's the local ADA Academy that teaches women to code, and so we want to do programs through there, get full keyboards built with them, and have corporate sponsorship going with that as well. So really, we're a completely volunteer-run organization, though. So and we plan to stay that way, as for the indefinite period. We're not planning to make it full-time positions or different things like that. So it's always going to be a little bit on the side. And so the main challenge that we have and that we're trying to solve is how to spread out the volunteers so people can do just a little bit at a time. And so that's where we're hoping to lean on the keyboard community in general, because everyone's been pretty supportive so far. And maybe we can find things that people can do remotely to help out and make this better. And we're always looking for people that are interested in contributing in content and everything too.
For sure. So if anybody's wondering exactly what Ckeys is, I'm going to put the website link right there in chat so you guys can check that out. And of course, if you guys are in the Seattle area and you got some spare time and you want to help out with some Ckeys stuff, make sure you head to that website and pester Brandon as much as you possibly can.
Yes.
Because he's not already busy enough.
It's okay. Pestering works. I mean, pestering is how I got into this. I was pestering you, Ryan, and I was just like, hey, I haven't been to a meetup. Can I help you with your meetup that you're putting together? like, hey, it's been a while. It doesn't seem like there's anything going on with this meetup. Is it going to happen? And then, you finally gave in and let me help out.
Yeah, I'm like, oh wait, I'm lazy. Like, I'll just let this guy do everything. Because I'm a terrible person. That's why.
So, as a fellow meetup host for people in chat who may not have been following, I also host meetups just like Brandon and Seekies, although I do it a bit differently, mostly under my own moniker. So, your meetups in Seattle have been absolutely wonderful. I went to the last Seattle one, had one hell of a time, one of the best meetups I've been to. It was amazing, and I saw you at the recent NorCal meetup back in November, 6 months ago. Both of us have our upcoming meetups again. Not that anyone's keeping track or anything, but how do you plan on getting past the NorCal 450 number?
Is it like a race at this point? Is it a challenge?
No, it's
because
little...
I think we could do it.
We could, but I think you guys can too, and I am rooting for you guys, because anytime a meetup gets bigger and bigger and bigger, that helps the whole hobby. So, as a fellow meetup host, I definitely want to hear what are your strategies to help promote the meetup, help grow the meetup, and help include more people in the community. I know you talked about the dorming situation. That's great. What else does Ckeys have on that front to help promote meetups?
Well, to help promote meetups, just strictly with what kind of stuff we're doing, trying to do things a little bit different that smaller meetups can't necessarily do. We have a speaker lineup, so we're going to have about 2.5 to 3 hours of talks going on. We're also in the winter meetup, which we had to artificially cap because the summer meetup at the museum, for anyone that was there, we were crammed in sardines. It got really hot in the back room.
Yeah.
So we solved that with a new venue now, so we should be good. We should have plenty of space. We can, granted, we can only go up to 500, so we can't beat NorCal by that much, but
it counts.
Yeah, and so if we do get up to that level, we'll be still should be comfortable. But then we also like to, in the winter one, we did kind of experiential kind of things to do. So that's not the right word for it, but say we had an artisan sculpting corner so that people could just sit down and sculpt with each other. And then, we had trivia, we had, different things for people to be able to participate, especially for, there are enough of us that are kind of shy or antisocial. And especially if we're trying to attract people in that haven't necessarily met many people in person, even if you know some of these people online, it might still help to kind of get people able to interact and feel comfortable in a comfortable setting. This isn't like a networking event where we're gonna sit everyone down speed dating style. It's just we want to offer enough things that people are interested outside of just putting down keyboards and touching everyone's keyboard. So that's really what we're going for, is trying to make it as well-rounded as possible so it draws people that otherwise may not see the full draw, because the real draw to these meetups is seeing everyone and becoming part of a community. I mean, that's what it's really about. It's not, yes, it's great to be able to touch all these keyboards, and if someone's local and it's just a convenient, walk down the street, go to a meetup kind of thing, yeah, that can be a great way to get introduced to keyboards. But for what it's really about is coming together, and the reason why people fly into these different meetups, different places, is to meet up with each other. And so we want to bring as many people into that fold, or find their own little niches and different things like that within the community, so people can do that. So we are already a week in. We have 100 people RSVP'd. So I think that we are with 76 days left.
You're on your way.
We're on the right track. And it's a little harder for us the way that we do this. Being a nonprofit, we don't have any money to throw into it. We need to, at least be able to break even on the meetup, and the venues get a little bit more expensive. We definitely have sponsors, but we're still trying to figure out exactly how to balance that all out. And so we do this T-shirt thing. So I mean, this is the T-shirt that we did for the winter meetup, and that worked pretty well because the whole idea of having a ticket price we don't like to do that. But at the same time, if we can offer a T-shirt for an equivalent door prize when people show up, for one, that means our numbers are a lot more accurate compared to free RSVPs. I mean, I've RSVP'd to things and not shown up to them. Not a keyboard-related event, but so this gives us a lot more accurate numbers, and we can better predict. And we're doing the early bird, deal this time, and we had early bird, but we have early bird left where it's $15 as opposed to $20. And we want everyone to get in on the $15. We don't want anyone to spend $20, but we're psychology, try to get people to do it sooner than later, because it really helps us, and we want to pass that on to everyone else, just so that we can prepare exactly what we need. And we will be designing completely new T-shirts, or well, I will be. I've become a T-shirt designer, I guess.
Did you design that one?
Yes, this was this took way too long to make, and it'll probably take way too long again for this next one.
Yeah, totally worth it though. I really like that shirt. Some people have already commented on it in the chat. Would you mind maybe taking a step back or lowering your camera so you can show a little bit? Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
It's very ortho QMK DIY SMD friendly, and a bunch of other acronyms.
Yeah, try to throw a bunch of stuff, and there will be a lot of different stuff thrown in for the next one too. You know, but we're always gonna we're probably gonna stick with the T-shirts because people do seem to like it. And at $15 for a high quality T-shirt, I mean, these are nice T-shirts. It seems like
I wear mine all the time. It's people probably see it on stream sometimes too. It really is a fantastic shirt it's totally worth like the $15 or whatever for the door price. So very cool, everybody. We will be moving into a Q&A momentarily, but before we get there, let's talk a little bit about the way that you personally keyboard, because you're a little bit like non-standard, I guess, as a user, because like people probably saw earlier when you lifted up your keyboard, it's not exactly a normal keyboard. So can you talk a little bit about your perspective and the way that you personally use keyboards and view them?
Yeah, again, for me, it came from having pain. I needed a split keyboard, and looking at what was on the market, it was like, I don't really want to spend that much. For that same price, I can build something and make it exactly the way I want it. I still haven't made the perfect keyboard for myself, so I continue to try different things. The latest one was a little less polished, but you know, this one here, it's split, as in split sides, but it's all connected. And so, you know, but it's all 1U, and you know, I just throw whatever Keycaps on there too. Like that's the other thing. I'm definitely on the outside, because I'm fine with just throwing grab bag Keycaps on things, as long as I have something I can type out. I never really look at my keyboard while I'm typing. So, and so the main thing for me is it's the 1U life. I do not like more than 1U. For one, it's simpler. I don't have to. I've never used stabilizers, so we just taught a workshop that a little numpad, and you know, it was actually. I got that one here. We did this little numpad here, and this is the first time I didn't know how to use stabilizers, so
That's awesome. That's such a fundamental thing in our eyes. So like, you come to the community, you learn how to like use and like modify stabilizers. That's like a basic thing, but you just bypass that completely into like hand wiring and like all ortho and like bent tented keyboards and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did pull it out just in case. You know, the first keyboard I made, because I didn't buy a keyboard, I just made one, and I was trying to go to a local Seattle keyboard build party, and I was waiting on plates from OLKB or something like that, and I needed something, and I wasn't going to have anything ready, so I was like, well, what can I make a plate out of so that I can hand wire my first board? And so I used popsicle sticks, so this was like my first keyboard ever.
Oh.
That is dedication, man.
That's incredible.
And it worked. I mean, and then I made like a 162 key ortholinear board split, kind of similar to this 90-degree angle here, like that. And then I realized that I don't like ortholinear, so I do staggered 1U. And
okay. Interesting. So has your RSI improved a lot since coming over to all this new kind of stuff from a normal keyboard?
Yeah, I don't have any problems at all. I mean, I use mouse keys too, so I've given up the mouse completely too. I'm just like 100% on the keyboard.
Wow.
And
that is so abnormal. That's fantastic, though.
Yeah, and it works well for me. And then the other great thing about with any kind of repetitive strain, the repetitive part of it is using the same keyboard. So now I can even use a non-split keyboard just fine. Before I'd get pain right away, but now I use enough different keyboards that are slightly different. So even that, you know, I can use my MacBook keyboard when I have to too.
Okay. All right, guys. So now is going to be the time where we start our Q&A. So if you guys have questions, particularly for Brandon or myself or Huey, make sure you put them in the chat. Use the @TopClack tag so we can see them a lot easier. Helps immensely, guys. I swear. But anyways, quintessential Top Clack question: do you prefer waffles or pancakes, and why?
Well, it's definitely waffles. Waffles for me without syrup, without maple syrup or anything. So for me, waffles, I don't do I don't eat sugar. So I've got to make the waffles from scratch. And waffles, I find I can put a lot more things in. So like, I'll put mashed up garbanzo beans or all different kinds of things in waffles. And a Belgian waffle maker can deal with a lot less requirements of perfection, whereas a pancake could go really flat or not rise or different things like that. Belgian waffle maker, flipping it over and different things like that, it can deal with a lot less consistency. I don't have to be as specific. I can just throw stuff in a bowl and then it will generally come out okay. It won't always taste good, but at least it'll be good.
Yeah. So do you tend to veer towards like savory waffles then, as opposed to the sweet waffles? So obviously you mentioned garbanzo beans. So do you prefer like savory fillings in like a waffle like that? Is that normal for you?
Well, yeah, just because I don't consume any processed sugars, but so that kind of leans more towards savory anyway. But I do put bananas and different things in to kind of make like I'll do a bananas with a raisin, a raisin coconut syrup of sorts. But I'll just fruit-based sweetness.
Nice.
Again, cool. on the odd side with waffles, keyboards, and all.
Yeah, it just translates towards the rest of your life. Fantastic. All right, Houndings with our first question. What keyboards are you all looking forward to? We talked about a couple today. I think the 280 is going to be pretty fantastic. That's a pretty nice looking TKL. What else did we have? Yeah, another one that looked pretty cool, right? What about you, Huey? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the meme. I'm looking forward to the 280. I'm looking forward to my polycarbonate 910. I'm looking forward to my all brass E6. I have a lot of things on the horizon that look pretty good. How do you, Brandon?
Meme.
Any projects that since you don't usually buy boards, anything you're looking forward to building? Since you did mention you haven't built your perfect board yet.
Well, I mean, I still need to figure out with the KL low profile switches, the Choco switches or whatnot. I need to do something with that. But I also am sort of keyboard related, working on an auto project, which is a music based project. It's another open source project that's going on, and this will have like a little screen here. And this was all going to use QMK. I jumped on this open source project and was like, hey, you should use QMK and hand wired these boards to start with. So I got a bunch of musicians onto this as well. So, that's like keyboard stuff can go outside of keyboards too, like just the knowledge of stuff. So yeah, again, another totally.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Tokyo Coffee Nerd is asking Brandon, what changed with RSI? How can you use a normal board now?
Again, it's the repetitive strain being the repetition. So using the same board over and over again. So it took probably a couple years before all the pain went away. But I used to get a lot of pain in my wrist and in my elbow, and the elbow stuff was mostly from mouse related stuff. But since I have different positions for my different split keyboards and my hands are always in different ways throughout the day, because I work as a developer, so I'm typing all the time. Not typing on the same board all the time is what's been the solution for me.
Okay, nice. Cursor TN is asking, what do you have planned for July 28th that you're most excited about, Brandon? Why should someone consider coming to the Seattle meetup aside from cheap housing? cheap
housing is a good one. Me personally, I can't be super excited about anything because I'm excited about it all, and I'm going to be probably running around all day with like a chicken head cut off. I don't get to enjoy the meetup in the same way organizing it as I do, say, going to the NorCal one, where I just was chill and able to relax. So for me, I love nerding out on talks, and so that's why we're making the talks a big portion of the morning. So I'm definitely looking forward to, if I can, watching some of those.
Very cool.
We're also gonna have workshops though too. So I mean, there'll be build workshops, everything. I mean, there'll be plenty of things for people.
Yeah, the last Seattle meetup was really cool because, like you mentioned earlier, there was a lot of kind of experimental things going on the side with like the QMK question bar. We had Jack Humbert on telepresence bot just like walking around the meetup. Like that was really cool. And yeah,
Yeah.
soldering demonstrations and workshops and such. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, the
So-
telepresence robot, we won't have access to that because we're not at the museum. But we were thinking of having a iPad on a necklace or something, and having a human volunteer walking around with a remote person, celebrity status person that can't make it to the meetup.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be really cool.
I would wear several iPads.
Right.
I would wear like 6 of them. I'm pretty big, so I could fit 6 on me.
Well, okay, it sounds like you just volunteered.
That'd be pretty cool.
So well,
I would totally do that, by the way. That'd be hilarious. At least for a little bit. Howdings is asking, what kind of diet does Brandon have?
Diet-wise, I mean, nothing too exciting. I'm vegetarian, pretty close to vegan, so I guess that kind of says that. But I do have chickens and ducks, so and goats too. So I mean, we don't milk our goats, but I would drink that milk if we had it. So I'm not really hardcore vegan, but you know, I come from before keyboards. Before being a developer, I wrote a cookbook on fermentation, and so a lot of I'm very food focused and do a lot with food. And just over time, my diet has just changed slowly.
Okay. Flux Capacitor is asking Brandon, have you yet, or do you plan to build your own kinesis?
No. So, for one, I've got an old what is it? Not round one, or version 1 of the Kinesis, the old one with the rubber buttons. That's the first one, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that one, I don't like the way those. My fingers don't do that. They don't bend.
The curve into the well.
Yeah.
It's different.
You know, mine. It just like you know, I don't need the big thumb spaces for any of the keyboards like the Ergodox or spin-offs from then. Like that, my thumbs don't go down like that either. My thumbs want to stay right up there, and that's the whole reason why I have my keyboard spaced like this is because I use a standing desk, and my hands, if I bring them up from my side, they fit specifically there. So like it's my natural resting position for my hands, and my hands probably rest at kind of a weird position, but yeah. So for me, that concave stuff's doesn't feel good.
All right, fair enough. Morning Coffee is asking, if Brandon had unlimited budget, which board would he buy? I don't think you know Brandon. He doesn't buy boards. But anyways, you can answer that if you'd like.
Are
there any boards that you've seen, like in group buy phase or whatever, that you've just been like, wow, that's really nice. I'd like to buy that, even if you would comfortably use it?
Yeah, I mean, the M65. I mean, is that too, like, is
That's
that
fine.
okay? I mean,
That's up there, yeah.
You know, like, so there are boards that I think look nice, definitely. But for me, I would probably, if I had unlimited budget, I would probably start doing, since I don't pay attention to a lot of the boards that are out there, since I don't ever plan on buying one. I see things and then forget their names, but I do a bunch of research. I would take everything that I see that I like out of everything, and then with an unlimited budget, I would just you know, pay to, you know, well, I probably wouldn't hand wire it if I didn't have to, you know, because I could just make a one-off PCB of it, you know, and then get everything cast for the case and get it just exactly the way I want it. And I probably have to go through, you know, then I would just go through maybe 20 iterations and prototyping and just like really just blow through a bunch of money, just trying to find exactly what's going to work perfect.
Yeah.
So I could spend the money. I just probably, and I'd be buying things, but just not a board that's already pre-made.
Oh, man. Yeah. Totally. All right. Morning Coffee also asks, can you elaborate on the mouse keys you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, so the mouse keys that are available in QMK, and so the way that I use it is I'm a Vim user as well, so HJKL for the arrow keys. And so for me, I just have it when I hold down, when I hold down S, I have access to HJKL being mouse keys, which then go all over the screen. And the important thing for me was just finding the perfect speed that worked for me so that I wasn't, it wasn't zipping around too fast. I think the default's pretty fast. I needed a little slower than that. But then the other thing is on that same, when I'm holding down S as opposed to tapping S or typing S, then I can hit I, and that will take me to the center of whatever the current window is. And I have a lot of keyboard shortcuts that are going to jump me around to different apps and programs or whatever I'm working on. So I really don't, even when I'm on, a larger external display, I don't have to scroll way, or when I used to use multiple monitors, I don't have to scroll way across. I could just jump to whatever app is on that screen and then hit I, and I jump to the middle of that, and then I could just go from there. So it makes it pretty quick. It's not as awkward as it might seem, and it does take a little while to get used to, but
for sure. Do you think that right now you're probably faster than you would be if you used a more traditional mouse?
Probably, well, for doing mousy things, no. So like doing, if I need to, I can't think of anything that I really have to do on a regular basis. So if I need to move around like a mouse, I'd be slower. But so much of what I do, I just avoid as much mouse as I can and just use keyboard shortcuts. And then when I need to do things that are more like artistic or otherwise, I just use my iPad with Apple Pencil and stuff, and I'm drawing, or use a Wacom tablet on the computer. And so I still do some mouse type things, but no, I'm probably not faster.
Okay, fair enough. The Sweaty Eddie donates. I'm not even going to count how many bits those are because there's so many emojis. But thank you for all the bits. We definitely appreciate that. I missed it on stream, but I bet that was
21. It was 21 bits.
Yeah, Liddy also donates 200 after that. So definitely appreciate that. I'm sure that was very fun to watch fall into the cup on stream. I sadly missed it. All right, Tokyo Coffee Nerd with another question: QWERTY, Colmac, or Dvorak?
QWERTY. In elementary school, I was doing Mavis Beacon teaches typing, and so I've been typing relatively fast for a long time, and I just couldn't. Same as ortholinear. I couldn't go ortholinear. Couldn't change away from QWERTY. Just I have too much muscle memory, and it just wasn't worth it. I tried ortholinear for a couple months with the 162 key keyboard and used that exclusively as my main board, and it just slowed me down so much. So I just finally was like, okay, got to go back to staggered and QWERTY.
Yeah, I am QWERTY, although I'd kind of like to swap to Dvorak at some point.
But why?
Not sure.
But
not
why,
sure.
Ryan?
But why?
You don't...
What? What do you mean?
But why? Yeah, but why?
Isn't it more efficient?
No.
Dvorak isn't more efficient?
No. It depends how you define efficient. It can be, but it's only for very specific circumstances. Like, I would not recommend Dvorak as a Dvorak typist. If you in chat did not know, I type exclusively in Dvorak. I would not recommend Dvorak to Brandon, who types every day as a developer for a living, because a lot of shortcuts and how they work don't correlate well with finger positions in Dvorak, for example. Dvorak works best if you're typing a large amount of just alphanumerics without many modifiers, with not many shortcuts. That's what it's actually good for, because all of your because that's where the efficiency argument comes in, and that's only where it's more efficient. Everywhere else it's the same speed. It's just you have to force yourself to get used to it.
Isn't there one, I forget which one it is, but there's one that's supposedly slightly faster for everyday typing, but
Workman?
This was some acronym that made, or maybe it wasn't even an acronym, just initials that didn't really make a word. But either way, any of those, there really isn't that much difference between any of them. Again, it depends on use case, but for the most part, it's preference.
Yeah, it's a big preference thing. So many people who now know, I type Dvorak. My reasoning for it is I learned back in college. It was only a few years ago. For me, it was a long time still. But I learned back in college Dvorak because I would sit down and I would hammer out a 15-page essay every week, because I majored in political sciences. So I had to do a political report every single week, 15 pages, and I just typed all the time. So I decided, if I'm just typing all the time, just normal words on Microsoft Word all day, what's the most comfortable for my fingers? And what caught for me was, hey, Dvorak has all of my vowels on the home row. Instead of A, S, D, F, G, I have A, O, E, U, I. No reaching for those. And then all the major consonants are on my right hand. So it's just constant right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. You develop a rhythm. That's great for just typing. But once I threw in like shortcuts and stuff, it's hell. So it depends on what you want to get used to.
All right. Texas Breakfast asks a similar question to the unlimited budget question, so I'm actually going to skip that because you already kind of clarified that. Tokyo Coffee Nerd asks, Brandon, most underrated QMK feature?
I don't know if underrated's the right term, but I really love the MIDI support. I think that's
pretty underrated.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
that's fairly underrated.
Yeah, that's what this is using. I also have I can't pull it up, but I have an old electronic keyboard that I put QMK on, and added MIDI keys all to that. The one bit that I do want to contribute at some point to QMK is the ability with, for anyone that isn't aware, that music keyboard keys, they have 2 switches per key, and that's how velocity is measured. So one touches down slightly before the other one, and then how fast that happens can calculate how hard on a analog keyboard that someone would be pressing those keys. So I want to add that at some point to QMK. But yeah, I'd say that the music related things of QMK can add a lot.
Random question. I don't know if it's possible. I think it is. Can you enable MIDI mode while during normal typing?
There was some talk of that in the QMK when it was in Gitter at one point. So you mean to be able to type and then hear the music as you type?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it would be possible to do it. I don't know if the person that was actually trying to do that as well actually got it completed. Because you could have you could have music mode with coming out of C6 or whatever the other pin is that it can come out of, have a speaker hooked up to that and do that. But then you can also have the MIDI coming out of the computer, and so then you could have a total cacophony of.
Because I got a plank from Jack to review, which is really awesome, and I was playing on the MIDI mode, absolutely loved it, and I was wondering, on default, why can't I just use both at the same time? Because that's kind of like a musical solenoid, but not mechanical, obviously a speaker. I thought that'd be an amazing thing. That's why I really wanted to ask about that. But thank you. Now I'm gonna try that out. Now I'm gonna see if I can talk to some people and make it happen.
Yeah, very nice. Flux Capacitor is asking for Brandon, when are you running a group buy for one of your crazy unique designs? You could fund your hot swappable dream board.
I am always one of the main reasons why I handwire is because I just always assume no one else is going to be interested. And that's that. So, I mean, I would always be willing to do a group buy at some point. I like making my life busier and harder, so might as well do a group buy then too. But, yeah, I guess if I ever get to a design that I really like, that feels like it's something that other people might actually be interested in, then I'd consider it. But I don't know if there's enough people out there.
You're a pretty unique typist, Brandon.
Yeah.
Very, very unique. All right, we're actually fully caught up on questions, which is pretty impressive. We actually went through those fairly fast. That doesn't usually happen. Usually there's a lot more rambling, so that's pretty cool. So I guess we'll slowly start to wrap up here. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. Helps us learn a lot because you're a very, very smart and unique keyboard enthusiast, and we appreciate all the work that you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and thanks for doing the show, and especially thanks for whenever it was a year ago. I don't know when you did put it on to actually be a RSS feed for podcasts as well. I usually can't watch the live stream, but I listen to the podcast regularly, and it's what allows me to keep up with the news and happenings, because a lot of times, I'll try to keep up on Reddit. I'll try to keep up on all the different Slacks and Discords, but I can't realistically with, like a 5-year-old and goats and chickens and full-time job and everything else. So, so thank you for keeping this going, because it's my life stream blood or whatever to keyboards, the community at least.
For sure. All right, we'll trail off a couple more questions here because we'll just kind of try to get through these quick, just because people actually want to know. Gio says, "How has no one asked about his keyboards?" And then some other people were like, "Show us some weird keyboards." So if you happen to have any on hand, feel free to show off some more insane designs that you have. as well as tell us your favorite Switch.
Okay, so I don't have any more within headphone cord range to be able to show off. Sorry about that, but I do have my emoji keyboard somewhere. I don't know where that's at, but using the SMK clone switches from Taiwan, I believe is where it's from, off eBay. Super cheap Switch. They don't feel great, but you know they're the relegible ones that I've got some little emojis in. And then so yeah, favorite Switch I would say is I'm kind of torn and mixed. I really like the low profile reds, Kale reds, but I still haven't actually gotten to building a full board with them, so I can't say I've like used them every day. Because when they first came out and there were no caps available for that, I was taking off. I got like 5 USB keyboards, old Apple keyboards that are all broken because they bust easily, and I was pulling all the keycaps off those and I was gluing it on to the low profile Kale, and it looked real nice, but it was a pain in the ass to do that. So I never actually got around to building a full board, and I'm building this music keyboard with them before I'm actually getting a real board. So I would say that those are probably going to be my favorite long term, but otherwise the trampoline modded clears, Gateron clears. So the trampoline mod, for anyone that doesn't know, is the little bit of rubber in the shaft. Is that what it's called? Yeah, like where
pipe, whatever. Yeah.
A little,
I don't know.
Little pipe thing, a little bit of like use an O-ring. I mean, there were some little rubber things that came out, but I'm kind of cheap too, so I just used O-rings and cut them up with X-Acto knife, put that into the pipe or shaft or whatever we're going to call it, and then paint a little bit of liquid latex on the parts where on the upswing where the stem will hit the top casing or whatever, and then also so it's got that on the top and then the rubber on the way down, and it makes it relatively quiet. And I do like things to be quiet and soft because I bottom out most of the time anyway. I always have, so I like something that's nice and soft in that regard. So for me, I like extremely heavily modded switches that take a long time to do. No lube though. I haven't found any use for that. But then otherwise, for a non-modded switch, I'd say the low profile or the reds.
Cool. Flexi Passer is asking where he can get my shirt. You can't. It was a group buy that ran, I don't know, probably a year ago now, almost.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Or so, yeah, by community member GZ Prime, who isn't quite as active in keyboards anymore, and he ran like a group buy. They're pretty cheap, like $10 or $15 each or something like that. I picked up a bunch of them. They didn't sell that well, but like they're amazing. These are like by far like my most comfortable shirts.
It's funny you don't say they sell well, because like almost every single time either of us wear them, people ask about them.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, at the time they didn't, like, nobody cared. He ran 3 different designs, and we both wear all 3 designs like pretty regularly. It's this one, then there's one that's it just says there is no end game, and there's another one that says I got 99 problems, but a Switch ain't one. Switch being a picture of a Switch. It's not designed very well, though. The contrast is like really bad. It's definitely the worst of the 3. But yeah, no, these very, very interesting group buy quite a while back, but you'd have to find them off of someone that already bought them at this point. So that's unfortunate. Anyways, once again, Brandon, thank you very much. For anybody that is enjoying this kind of content, make sure you tune into our next week's show. We do this every week, every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Or, rain, shine, holiday, whatever, we're always here. Our YouTube channel is below the stream. There's a link for that. Please make sure you sub to that. It helps us out a lot. You can also check out our Discord channel, which is also below the stream. That's been going pretty well. Today I'm actually, I promise, guys, today I'm putting up the giveaway link for the special edition Rama M6A. It's going up. I'm gonna make the Google form right after this show. Promise. So that's going to be a good time, and make sure you're in the Discord to win that. Pay attention to the announcements channel. That's where it will be posted. Of course, Bezel King, thank you so much for the sub, as well as my man Mart. We really appreciate that. It helps us out so much. So yes.
We will
Brandon.
catch everyone next time. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. Check out all of our stuff down below. And if you guys are free in July, you know, check out the link to the SMK meetup, ckeys.org/events/SMK meetup. Check out the meetup. Brian's going to be there. Brandon's going to be there. I'm probably going to be there. I went last summer. I'm going to go this summer. It was a great time. Let's all eat Korean barbecue or something. I don't know. Let's all hang out, eat food, talk to other keyboard enthusiasts. It'll be a great time.
Let's find better Korean barbecue this time.
As long as they're kimchi pancakes, I'm happy.
True dat. True dat. Well, everyone, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.